The first time I realized that I had a red-green color deficiency was, it was in math class actually, algebra class, high school. The teacher was just drawing some slope lines or whatever on the board, and he asked me a question. He said, Steve, what is the slope of this green line? And up until that point, I had thought all the lines were just black. Because, the projector's a little shaded too, but I guess he said, no, there are 3 different colors up there you can't see. And I was like, wow, I honestly can't tell the difference between these lines. That was the first big telling thing. And then after that, I started, I got home, I'm like, Dad, what color is this blanket? What color is that house? And we just started to realize like the red-green thing was starting to show more and more. I have a red-green color deficiency due to anomaly, I think. Well, after I talked about it, I realized my brother does have it as well. My dad has some deficiency with red-green, but it's not really impairing the same way mine is. His, he can see pretty much fine, but there were some differentiations he had problems with. So I'm not sure. I might be the first worst. The first thing I think about is when I'm putting clothes on, I'm like, what am I not going to notice? Let me think hard about the colors I'm choosing this morning. But other than that, it doesn't show up too much for me. I'm not full-blown red-green color deficient. I just have a mild deficiency, the anomaly. It's some websites do things wrong with their color schemes, and that will show up for me. Or people will pick a bad color scheme for a presentation or something, but it doesn't show up too much in daily life. I know sometimes services or tools will offer, like a software will offer some kind of colorblindness mode, if they're, a decent, whatever software it is. And that'll just try to separate, basically cast the colors toward one or the other instead of giving me this confusing middle range. But, for choosing clothes or something, my wardrobe is actually almost entirely grayscale. I'm just starting to venture out into other things. But typically, if it's just something that is harsh on the eyes, I might be inclined to leave a website or not look at something. It really messes with my attention to whatever it is that has those colors there. Once you've got whatever, when you're starting to develop and think about accessibility in an application, you should go through just the 2 most popular, I would say, color blindness deficiencies, right? Especially red-green, because that affects a lot of males. Think about it, and when you're choosing the color scheme, it's really easy just to find people like me and say, hey, Steve, what do you see here? Does this hurt your eyes? Can you even tell the difference? Can you see there's 2 colors here? I think it's easy to find people out there, but also just to be conscious of when you're choosing red and green, maybe don't make those colors always next to each other. When I was, for our senior project, for example, we're visualizing some molecules, something to do with proteins, and we're doing 2 separate molecules overlapped with each other. And the default colors for the visualization library we use are red and green, a very harsh combination of the 2. So the first thing we did was go in and actually change the color from red to blue or something like that. The worst one, no doubt, is when I went to buy my second car. I went to Long Island. My dad was trailing behind me in his Jeep. I got there way ahead of him, and I was looking at this cool Nissan Sentra. It's blue. And I asked ahead of time, I'm like, there's no body damage, no repaints or anything. He said, no, it's good. But he had to go, so it was kind of a time-sensitive deal. And I said, okay, let's go to the bank, let's make this deal happen. So I bought this car. I thought it was beautiful. My dad shows up, he sees the vehicle, and his face just dropped to sheer disappointment. Not in me, but he just felt bad. I guess one of the panels on the side of the car had been totally repainted, just entirely different shades of blue around this vehicle, and I had no idea. I guess maybe some color deficiencies leak in other parts too, like blues for me, I guess, but I could not tell that there were repaints all over this vehicle. So we resold the car 3 days later. Yeah, that was the worst one. I think the awareness just needs to occur in giving presentations or making software. I think that as far as my life goes, those are the biggest times that I see red-green color schemes just clashing, and it hurts my eyes. I don't want to look at whatever you've made for me anymore. So if there's anything I want to say, it's just be conscious of people who have color deficiencies. It's one of the many super popular accessibility needs you should meet with software, with presentations, just something to be conscious of.